Hi viewers, I chat with many of my followers on a daily basis via email and WhatsApp and Instagram, and over the past I don't know, year or so, several have asked if I would do a video on my non-coinage silver stack. Well, I did think about it, and I thought it would be an hour-long video or something. So I thought I'd just cover a few pieces and silver hallmarks. Anyway, let's start with the one you all know, which is pretty predominant in the USA. Shall we see if we can get this through the loop and get that to show up? Yeah, 925. So the 925 stamp obviously is sterling silver. Now, unfortunately, stuff in the UK that's just stamped 925 kind of means very little, because there's another piece there, as my LCS owner pointed out, he's actually got a sterling stamp himself, and whether it's upside down, I don't know, I can't see it, but it does say 925, yeah, it's upside down. But he's got a sterling stamp himself, so if he finds a piece that isn't hallmarked and it acid tests as silver, he can stamp it with 925. And there's a great example of that there. This beautiful fork, beautifully, probably hand engraved, and let's see if we can get it to show up a bit better. It has a sterling silver handle. Well, I don't know about sterling, but it's certainly silver. But unfortunately, it's got no hallmark. He'd been over it, and I thought, oh, he must have missed it, because sometimes they put it in obscure places. But no, there's definitely no hallmark, but it tests as silver. And anyway, he gave it to me because he couldn't prove it was silver. Well, only with an acid test. Whereas anything with a hallmark has provenance, so becomes collectible. Anyway, let's cover some various hallmarks, because I don't want this video to be just about British hallmarks. And we'll start with this gorgeous little lady's pocket watch. This is circa 1900, and it's got a stunning enamelled dial with some gilding, and obviously probably all hand engraved back in the day, and it hasn't been initialed or anything. It works and keeps perfect time as well, actually. But this is a Swiss lady's pocket watch, which is fully hallmarked with the grouse, which is the Swiss hallmarked. Yeah, and all my hallmarked with a B. What I'll do is some of these pieces, what I'll do is I'll edit and put in a close-up of the hallmark for you to see on each one, because it's not going to show up very well on camera. So the Swiss is hallmarked with the grouse, and here's an Italian piece, which I'll see if I can do without a face reveal. It's an Italian solid silver locket. It is actually in 0.800 silver. A locket or snuff pot. I don't think they ever had a particular sole purpose. But the silversmith was Gregio Rino. That's my Italian accent, that's the best you're going to get. And this dates back from the 50s and 60s and weighed 21.75 grams. And you're wondering how I know this information? Well, each piece I have, I keep a note with it, so that when it comes to sell, that the research is already done. And anyway, basically a lot of the silver that I'm going to show you here today was purchased at my LCS and other places by its weight, because that's what dealers deal in non-coinage silver. So, you know, anything, you know, like the fork or this pen or this bracelet, they weigh it, and obviously that's got a sterling mark on, so they would know what silver was per gram on that day, and that's what they would pay for it, either under spot or spot, I don't know. And then when they sell it, they would sell it for a markup over spot to make their profit. So some of these pieces were bought when silver was £10 an ounce, and some of them were in pretty horrific condition. Much like this, a little condiment set that you see before you. Well, some were actually much worse than this, but this condiment set I picked this up at a car boot sale, but as you can see, it says there Mappin and Webb. Now, I knew that this wasn't sterling silver because it hasn't got a hallmark, but it is Mappin and Webb, which is a very well-known maker and collectible. So I thought it might have a bit of a collector. I didn't pay much for it, but it's basically silver plate. But Mappin and Webb did actually produce the identical set in sterling silver. And basically this little blue glass bowl that you see in here will pay for that whole set, because those little glass bowls get broken and someone with the sterling set wants to replace it for this identical bowl. So the little bowl will pay the £5 for the whole set of this, which is, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's junk. It's just silver plate. Someone might pay a tenner for it, I don't know. Anyway, I'll go on to a few other pieces that I picked up for their weight, which this is a heavy men's, as you can see the side of it, heavy men's sterling bracelet, and he literally just put it on the scales, and whatever silver was that day, you know, stuck a bit on for himself. And this is Italian silver. Let's see if we can't get there's a lot of this sterling jewellery does come out of Italy, and no, it's 925, it's stamped there. I think it does say on it somewhere Italy, but you know, I can't remember how many ounces it was, good couple of ounces I think of sterling silver, bought for its weight but saleable as a piece of jewellery. There was a couple of other pieces I bought off of him, this was some years ago, which are absolutely stunning, and there was a bit of a premium over spot. But this particular one really caught my eye. It's a very unusual link, as you can see there. Let's see if we can get in closer. I don't think I've ever seen a link like it. It's really quite impressive. And obviously this one, I can't remember what the hallmark was on this one, but again, I might include some of these when I get a close-up. Well, that just says sterling, I can't tell, 925. So yeah, so that one was a bit of a premium. And again, this one, which is this is absolutely stunning and very, very heavy, and made out of sterling wire. If you can see that weave, a very, very impressive piece. This is from 1974, made by David Sutton and Sons, from 74. So not that old, but it has this gorgeous little hidden clasp where you can put it around your wrist and lock it into place so you don't lose it. A lot of work went into that, I should think, a lot of work, from 1974, and saleable as a piece of jewellery. Here's another piece of jewellery that These are very popular and very sought after. Can't remember how much I paid for this one, but it hasn't got a British mark on it. I think it's foreign, so it might be 800 silver, it might be sterling. There is a tiny little mark somewhere there, but I couldn't really identify it without probably a closer look. But what's interesting about these charm bracelets, these vintage charm bracelets, is just one or two of these charms. They're highly sought after, and one or two of these charms will pay for this whole bracelet. Yeah, it's like, again, he you know, put it on the scales, weighs it. Even he wasn't. He obviously couldn't find a hallmark, but there is a very tiny mark. But it's like I say, it's probably an import mark. But some of the charms are definitely British because of what I see on them. Right, before I move on to a few other things, let's go back to the hallmarks. So we've seen a couple pieces from other countries, and obviously Britain had you know, everything silver is hallmarked, and there are obviously books available that you can buy. There are also a couple good websites which will help you identify certain things, and I'll just briefly go over the British hallmark. So so the hallmark will consist of a maker's mark, so that's the silversmith who made the piece, a date letter, which is when it was assayed, and then there are various, the leopard's head was in earlier silver, and the most common one that you'll see is the lion passant, which is kind of indicates that it's sterling silver and no other purity. And also there are some pieces, and I have had a few but flipped them all, which have Britannia mark, and then imported pieces, which I'll show you in a minute, have a duty mark, and then obviously you've got the cities of where they were marked. I'm trying not to make this video long, but anyway, let's cover this pair of tongs. Now again, this was a piece that was not close to spot because of the hallmark. This is an 1801 George III sterling silver tongs, serving tongs, and it weighs 41 grams. But obviously this would have been all hand engraved. Bearing in mind this is 220 years old, so 1801. And these were absolutely gross when I got them, but yeah, all would have been hand engraved 1801, and the marks, as you can see there, might put a clip in with that, but they are this has got a duty mark, so it was an imported piece and then stamped at the assay office. Right, so let's cover some things on the British hallmarks. So hopefully you can see there is the various hallmarks: London, Birmingham, Sheffield, Chester, Edinburgh and Glasgow. So they are all the hallmark. Obviously there were others earlier on, and so basically each one of these spoons was assayed at each of these offices, assay offices, yeah, to make this, to complete this set. So this is a you know, a highly collectible set, especially as it's by Bappin and Webb. and so that's one of each hallmark on each spoon. So each spoon would have had to been sent off to each assay office and then the sets assembled. So that's quite a collectible set there. Right, there are many items that are highly collectible in silver, and this is a little pepper pot by John Newton Mappin, London 1892. No, I didn't remember that, I was reading it off the bit of paper. But and hopefully, well, you should be able to see that in there. So yeah, so a lot, that's the Phoenix. So a lot of these pieces are highly collectible, and again, you know, when you're buying them, you can buy them by their weight, which is what I bought that. There are just so many different ones. This one is by J. Richard Attenborough & Co. 1909 with the Chester hallmark. See if I can get that to show up. And this one by E.S. Barnsley & Co. This became quite an iconic design, and I think many people produced this. And this was by E.S. Barnsley & Co. 1876. I'm trying to hide to stop the face reveal in the reflection. Let's put my thumb over it. Anyway, that was just a few of the pepper pots. Obviously there's condiment sets and salt pots and everything, which I'm obviously not going to cover everything in this video. Just go on to a few other things that are also highly collectible. Now, you may not have thought about this, but these have a huge collector market. It's a silver thimble, and this particular one is the Chester hallmark. Let me read my bit of paper. 1912 by Turner Brothers. And when you're buying these second hand, the first thing to do is just to look in the bottom and hold it up to the light to make sure you haven't got any pinholes, because obviously they were used and the needles pierced through the silver. So people will, collectors buying them, want them without holes in the end, preferably. Although the smaller ones are probably acceptable. Can we get a close-up on this hallmark? Anyway, these were sized as well, so collectors will collect the different sizes from the different makers. Yeah, highly collectible little thimbles. They are sold for more than their weight because they're so tiny. Anyway, another item that's collectors like is these napkin rings, and whether we can see that hallmark there, I think it's upside down. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. So you can see the crown, the lion, the date letter and the maker. This is by Walker and Hall, Sheffield 1901. So, you know, 121 years old, and still, okay, it's got a bit of a tone on there, but it's still looking pretty stunning. And yeah, these are highly collectible, and again, these have been bought for weight, and I've got quite a few of those. Right, I'll move on to a few larger objects. I'll have a quick slurp of my coffee and I'll be right back with you. Now obviously this isn't a massive object, but this is a sterling silver bonbon dish. And I'm not going to turn it over because it will do a face reveal. But the hallmark is right there. And obviously you can see the size of it by my hand. It's not massive. This is 1909 Sheffield, Cooper Brothers and Sons. And going up in size again is a gorgeous sterling silver fruit bowl from 1905, and I'm going to try not to do a face reveal, by but as you can see, this would have been all hand tooled in 1905. Such a lot of work, and this is a stunning example with a gilded interior. And yeah, from 1905. I can't remember who the maker was on that one. Didn't write it down. Right, on to a few smaller pieces, going back to an American piece. This is a compact mirror. Now, I can't remember who it was by, because I don't think these actually had marks. You just identify it by the style. Obviously, I'm not going to flip that over because that will do a face reveal. But yeah, that was sent to me as a trade. And obviously with the Queen's recent passing, this one becomes relevant because this one has the Jubilee mark. So this was from 1977, and obviously you've got the sterling, the lion passant, and is that the maker? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so it's nice to actually have a working pen in silver. And one last piece, I must be extremely careful with this one because of the face reveal, is a sterling silver sovereign holder. Now I'm going to try and hold it sideways, so, and you literally pop the clasp open and your sovereigns push down in there. I can't remember how many it took, something like 6 gold sovereigns. And that particular one is 1909, so 111 years old, 12, whatever, 111. And that was Birmingham by J. Gloucester. Anyway, there is, like I said, you can actually learn all about the different makers' marks and hallmarks. You know, like I said, there are books out there. This is a little pocket book. Which even give you the marks of silver plate and different makers' marks, but there are also a couple good websites. You know, if you want to get into collecting silver, you know, I know in the United States a lot of silver, whether it's hallmarked or not, is literally just bought and sold by its weight, and so you know, you could actually manage to find some pretty collectible silver that will make you a nice profit, you know. Anyway, hope you found the video interesting, and catch you all on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.